Good morning or good afternoon, Tigers. Today we'll be watching a video on 8th grade 7-10. I'm sorry, 8th grade 10. Go ahead and write your last name, comma, first name, the date, and just your color. Now, if you were here yesterday, we did take some notes on slope and Y-intercept and the Slope-Intercept Form. But if you were not here, it's simple enough for you to catch up. So number 1, it says, from the equation y equals negative 1/4 x minus 3, what is the y-intercept and what is the slope? Make sure you write this down. So the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. Okay, now let's write the equation that they gave us. Y equals negative 1/4 x minus 3. All right, so we can easily see that our slope is the number that's right next to x, or the coefficient, which is negative 1/4. That's your slope. Now my y-intercept, I always write my y-intercept as a point. So 0, comma, whatever this number is. And in this case, it's not just 3, it's negative 3. So my y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 3. Now, in the next question, you're going to have to provide the slope and the y-intercept as well. Now, luckily, I just noticed that number 1 and number 2 have the same equation. That was done on purpose by the 8th grade teachers, because now they want you, after you've identified the slope and the y-intercept, they want you to draw the line of this equation. So let's go ahead and draw it out. Now, it's the first step is to graph the y-intercept. And our y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 3. So I'm going to go to the graph, and remember, this is the x-coordinates, or the x-coordinates, and these are the y-coordinates. So if the x-coordinate in this case is 0, I'm going to start at the origin, and then I'm going to go to negative 3 on the y-axis. And negative 3 on the y-axis is actually right here. And then I'm going to draw a little point right there. There, my first step is done. Now, step 2. Determine your slope direction. So my slope is negative 1/4. And the negative is on either one of those numbers. I'm going to always put the negative on the top number, on the numerator. So negative 1, think of negative 1. The first, the top number is either going to go, sorry guys, up or down. So when you have a slope, the top number, or the numerator, determines if you go up or down. And the bottom number, or I'm sorry, I thought I said numerator, but I said denominator there. So the numerator determines if you go up or down. The denominator determines if you go right or left. Now, if you look at your graph, if negative 1 is your top number, are you going to go up or down? Starting from this point. Starting from this point, are you going to go up 1 or down 1? If you look at it here, it's negative 1. So you're going to go down 1, and then you're going to go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And your new point is right here. So go ahead and write this down. So you're going to go, so determine the direction of your slope. So you're going to go down 1, right 4. And the reason you go down is because it's negative, and the reason you go right on 4 is because it's positive. So from your new point, you're going to go down 1 and then to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put another point there. And then now, your last step is to draw the line. So I'm going to do my best to draw this line. It's not always going to be straight. So you always want to extend it past the points and then end it with arrows. Try to make it as straight as possible. And then a true mathematician always writes the equation of the line on top of the line. So here we go. I'm going to write y equals negative 1/4 x. It's really hard to see, so it's okay if you can't see it on your paper either. Minus 3. Basically, I drew this line and I wrote it on top of the line. Because pretty soon you guys are going to start graphing like 2, 3, 4 lines. Maybe not this year, but next year or in 9th grade or 10th grade year. You're going to have so many lines on your graph that you're not going to remember which line is to which graph. And you might not have like a red pen, a green pen, a blue pen. So that's why mathematicians just learned it's easier to write the equation on the actual graph. All right, moving on. Now let's determine what number 3 is asking. From the equation, y equals negative 1/4 x minus 3. What do you notice about the slope? Is it positive, negative, no slope, or undefined? So if we just look at our slope, we have m equals negative 1/4. Is it positive, negative, no slope, or undefined? Just by looking at my slope, it's negative. So I'm going to write the equation, y equals negative 1/4 x minus 3 has a negative slope. And that's it. So now I would like for you to complete Wednesday on your own using the steps from number 2. Thank you, yellow tigers, or tigers in general.